One of the beneficial side effects of being in lockdown is that the health of the planet has improved in so many different ways. The pollution is less from much reduced travel and traffic. The skies are darker from less lights. It is quieter from fewer aircraft, and the use of fossil fuels is dramatically reduced. We were spending Lent considering God's wonderful creation in all its magnificence, and thinking about how we should be showing our love and grateful thanks to God by caring for it. Even though our deliberations were cut short, we could never have imagined that by Pentecost we would be living on a planet that had seen a fantastic green revolution. I fear it might be reversed, as we are all being encouraged to get back into our cars to travel rather than risk public transport. But there may be more permanent changes, as office use and commuting might be reduced, and air travel settles down to a new and lower level. Who knows? So much seems to be changing on a daily basis at the moment. On week 1 of our Lent sermon series, back on the 1st of March, which seems such a long time ago, we considered the first day of creation, when God said, "Let there be light." The message that day was to reinforce our efforts to be careful with the planet's sources of energy and reduce our use whenever possible. That is exactly what we have done, but maybe not how it was thought about all those weeks ago in that other time and place. Energy is what we need and use all the time. Some countries use so much more than others, which seems to reinforce global inequality, but that's a discussion for some other time. Energy sustains us. You could say that energy is life. One of the forms of energy that is being increasingly exploited is the power of the wind, and that very basic form of energy features in both our readings today, giving different versions of the coming of the Holy Spirit. When Jesus was meeting the disciples in the upper room just after the resurrection in our reading from John, he very quietly and gently shared his energy with them. He breathed on them and said to them, "Receive the Holy Spirit." This simple act meant that the energy and life of God was given to them. It was all rather quiet and understated. In fact, the story in the Gospel stops at that point. But the effect of that simple action of breathing was shown after Jesus had ascended. In our reading from Acts, we hear that the Holy Spirit arrived, not in a gentle loving breath, but in tongues of fire and a mighty rushing wind. The energy of God was astonishing. They could suddenly speak many languages. They were full of life and courage. The breath of Christ filled the disciples with the life of Christ, and they went out as his messengers and his new body on earth. The very reason we are all joining in with the service today. The messengers of the good news were blown to us by the breath of Jesus. As part of our enforced lives of contemplation, it is good to continue to consider the wonder of God's creation all around us and try and appreciate it more once life returns to normal, whatever that turns out to be. If we are becoming aware of the life and energy all around us, we are actually becoming aware of the breath of life that Jesus sent his disciples out with. We are becoming aware of the Holy Spirit in action. We don't need to be in church to feel it. The building does and will lift our spirits and helps us to worship. But the Holy Spirit is here and with us now, and wherever you are. Christ sent the disciples out full of his breath, and that same breath of life fills us. We are messengers also sent out to spread the good news of the kingdom and to do good works to start to bring it about. But remember, we're not bringing God to others. He is already there and here and everywhere. He made us and we live in him and we move and have our being. So we are showing and demonstrating the presence of God that is here. We are sharing Christ's goodness. That is here already. We are using Christ's healing. That is here already. We can show people where the Holy Spirit is and at work, and that is everywhere in God's creation. And remember, God saw that it was good. A fantastic burst of energy was released at that first Pentecost and has never gone away again. So use this time to look for the energy of God, the Holy Spirit, at work in you and in everything all around you. And just know that even without a building to meet in at the moment, we can continue to be blown into the world by Christ, to continue the work of building up his body.